Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to break down your sources and pull out the core knowledge, the insights you really need. Today, we're diving deep, really deep, into the world of cannabis cultivation. We're focusing on the story, the methods, the whole philosophy of Shauncron. He's a San Diego native who, well, kind of earned this title, the anti-hype hero.
Yeah, and that title, it's not just fluff. It really gets at how he worked, his whole approach. Our goal here is to look at a career built on, let's say, totally uncompromising standards. He was all about intense, specific quality, deep, really loud aromatics. He wasn't chasing, easy wins like high THC numbers or whatever trend was hot that month. And for you listening, this isn't just about growing. It's really a masterclass in building real credibility through discipline, through taste, completely outside the usual marketing game.
Okay, right. Let's get into that. It starts foundationally in San Diego, California. The sources really paint this picture, him chasing waves during the day, but then chasing terpenes at night.
There's a nice parallel there, isn't there? The rhythm of the ocean, the patience needed for the grow room. The sources point that out clearly. The ocean, it taught him rhythm, timing, but cultivation. That taught him the deep, long-game patience he needed for this kind of craft.
And that patience, it seems like it was essential, especially during those early years, almost a decade, right?
Absolutely. We're talking roughly 2007 to 2015. The sources call it full grind mode. Think basement HID lights, running classic OG cuts. This was pure bootstrapping. No sponsors helping out, no big names co-signing him, just dedication, repetition.
That sounds intense and pretty isolating, too. He's running these small, super dialed-in rooms, basically building his skills in private while the industry is starting to, blow up around him. But how did he manage financially? If he's deliberately prioritizing fuel-heavy funk and structure over hype, that doesn't sound like the easiest path early on.
That's a really good question. And the key was controlling the scale. He kept things small. He focused completely on repetition, like you said, running the same cuts over and over until he just nailed the consistency. This sort of quiet work let him constantly test new phenotypes, refine his own palate without needing huge profits or scaling up too fast. He was investing in the craft, not chasing visibility. That foundational work paid off later.
Okay, so what's really interesting is that he develops this whole philosophy, this commitment to funk, precisely when the market starts moving hard in the other direction towards dessert flavors.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
This is where his nose first, numbers later idea really comes from. While everyone else was like chasing candy terps or just boasting about the highest THC percentage, Shauncron dug in on pure gas.
Okay, gas. Let's define that in his context, because it's not sweet or fruity, is it? What specific smells was he after?
Yeah, the sources are very clear on this. Gas, for him, meant those really deep, almost aggressive savory smells. Think rubber, garlic, even burnt tires. He trusted his nose over lab results, which was pretty radical then. His rule was super simple. The loudest nose wins. That's it.
Wow. That's strategically pretty bold. It's a strategy built entirely on sensory belief, right? He basically carved out his own lane based on these non-mainstream, really intense smells. He must have known it wouldn't appeal to everyone initially.
Well, for sure. But it would resonate deeply with the connoisseurs, the traditionalists. And it's a key insight for anyone listening, thinking about differentiating a product. By sticking to a very specific, high-standard taste profile, he wasn't trying to please the masses. He was aiming for a demanding niche, and that focus, it built incredible, long-lasting loyalty.
Right. So if that focus was his guiding principle, let's look at the strains that actually proved it worked, the ones that kind of reshaped the California scene. Sources mention a key moment when he was deep in a pheno hunt, looking for a Sunny D pheno of orange cookies. Maybe quickly explain pheno hunting for listeners.
Yeah. Pheno hunting is essentially planting a bunch of seeds from the same crossbreeding and searching for that one standout plant, the keeper. You're looking for the best mix of everything: structure, how vigorously it grows, the flavor, the effect. It takes, well, that patience we talked about, finding the needle in the haystack. And right around that time, a really important collaboration happened.
That was with lump status, yeah.
Exactly. Shauncron gave the sour apple clone to lump status. Lump status then reversed it. That's a technique to make feminized seeds, and crossed it with animal cookies. It's low-key, just based on trust and mutual respect for quality.
Yeah.
Not a big corporate deal.
And the results from that small seed run, they were huge. It gave us two major keepers, and it was Shauncron himself who named them both: Reckless Rainbow and, of course, the legendary Apple Fritter.
Yeah, those names, born from that focused effort, they didn't just get popular. They became like foundational strains in modern California cannabis. Apple Fritter especially, known for its unique structure, its flavor, it really shows how much impact one disciplined, quality-obsessed grower can have. He wasn't the factory. He was more like the source code behind it all.
And that influence just kept building, right? Leading up to the strain that really put his work on the global map, zero gravity.
Zero gravity, yeah.
Yeah.
It debuted in 2022. But remember, it came after years of that same slow, careful refinement we saw early on. This wasn't some overnight success or cash grab. It was the culmination of his whole philosophy.
Okay, let's talk genetics. It's a heavy hitter. GMO crossed with Oreos.
Right. And he's specifically designed zero gravity to be frost-covered and a nose-punching hybrid.
Right.
The goal was pretty brilliant, actually. Fuse that infamous savory garlic funk from GMO, the ultimate gas, with the creamy, kind of sweet depth you get from Oreos. It was a very deliberate move to bring funk back, but maybe with more modern structure and bag appeal.
And the market just ate it up. By 2023, zero gravity hits these major menus, cookies, TRP. For listeners maybe not deep in the scene, what does landing on those menus really mean?
Oh, it's huge. It signifies you've arrived commercially, you have global reach and validity. Cookies and TRP are massive platforms. For zero gravity to land there showed that Shauncron's whole anti-hype approach, his commitment to funk over fleeting sweetness, could actually translate to massive commercial success. And crucially, without him compromising.
So what was it about zero gravity that kicked off this huge demand, this clone market frenzy? What delivered on that promise of this one floats and proved his gas over gimmicks idea?
Well, the sources point to several key things, those traditional markers of quality. It gave a heavy, almost buoyant, high-the-floating effect, really dense resin structure, a full-bodied smoke on the inhale. But for the real purists, the proof was in how it burned. It produced pure white ash that signals a clean, complete combustion and what they call a greasy grind.
Greasy grind. Can you break that down quickly?
Sure. A greasy grind is basically what you see and feel when you break up the flour. If it leaves your fingers feeling oily or greasy, it shows the resin production is off the charts. Super dense trichomes. These details, the white ash, the greasy grind, these are the signals for traditional smokers that the craft quality is really there. You don't even need the lab report. You can see and feel it. Zero gravity was like a statement piece. It marked the return of real heavy gas to a market that had become saturated with dessert strains.
And he proved it through his actions too, right? Not big ad campaigns. He let the flower do the talking in like intimate San Diego smoke sessions or key industry events like the Zalmy Picks competitions. His signature move became just, smell this.
Exactly. That independence is so key to his whole strategy. He stuck to running tight, controlled rooms. That let him maintain absolute quality control. He basically showed that if your quality is that good, the product itself is the marketing campaign.
Which leads us to where he is now, this sort of sustainable philosophy. The anti-scale, float club only model. He operates with a breeder brain, but grower hands is how the sources put it. His R&D is still deep in GMO crosses, funk-driven hybrids, and the rule hasn't changed since the basement days. Every keeper has to earn its spot. No shortcuts, no rushing things out.
Right, and this idea of anti-scale, it's really important for you, the listener, to grasp, because it completely flips the usual business growth model. Instead of scaling up for mass production, Shauncron scales inward.
Scales inward, that's a great phrase. What does that actually look like operationally compared to just getting bigger?
Scaling inward means deliberately keeping batch sizes small. Why? To maintain hyper-control over every single factor, environment, nutrients, harvest timing, cure, everything. The result is total consistency. Most businesses want maximum yield per square foot. He wants maximum quality per square foot and accepts that means the total volume stays limited, and that naturally creates scarcity. The Shauncron stamp isn't slapped on everything. It's reserved only for what the sources call verified pressure. It reflects that intense discipline.
It's like the ultimate way to protect the brand's integrity, isn't it? Resisting that temptation to dilute the quality just to sell more. That commitment to craft over sheer volume, that's exactly why he's called an anti-hype hero. His mantra holds firm, sums up his whole journey, really. Gas over gimmicks. It just has to hit hard.
Yeah, his final summary in the sources says it all. No mid, no sugar, just pure craft structure and a little zero gravity. And that journey, from a San Diego garage setup to being on international menus, it's powerful proof that unwavering quality can win out over chasing trends or rapid expansion.
Exactly. His success wasn't about being first or the biggest grower out there. It was about being the most disciplined, the most patient. having this non-negotiable commitment to a very specific kind of intensity, aromatics, structure, effect. He didn't change his taste to fit the market. He basically cultivated a market that appreciated his specific high standards.
So that brings us to the final thought we want to leave you with today, something to chew on. If Shauncron's independence, his focus on small batch consistency, led to creating these iconic, super high-demand strains like Apple Fritter and Zero Gravity, does scaling up always mean you have to compromise on craft, on that unique identity? Or maybe is Zero Gravity's success proof that sometimes the most disruptive innovations come from actively resisting industrial scale, from doubling down on that limited, focused, intense excellence?
Definitely something to think about, especially as you consider your own approach to quality and standing out. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.